starting off with the end of the quest results. But I'm Mycroft Holmes,
I'm Falconeer 111.
and we're trying to find a secret tomb. And basically, that means you go somewhere and you use someone's dialogue that's always there.
Yeah. Only so secret. But yeah, I got to this time. Like,
And I almost just run away because I'm like,
that's all you
well,
need to
I
do.
did it, but I stay here so you can see it.
But it has soul, an old soul, stained and musty, but also robust and authentic.
I'm trying not to make a dick joke looking at that.
It is just a small town in the middle of the desert, far away from big cities and civilization. I know, because this is why I come here in the first place. I like being far away.
Small town life, I guess. I mean, you know.
I mean, it probably seemed good.
It probably seemed like a good idea.
Until the whole evil god thing. It probably seemed really nice.
I mean, hey, Krieg moved out into the middle of rural Maine to get away from everything. And I think he hated his life, but I don't think he would have been happy anywhere. So,
I don't remember what I'm doing at this point. I think I was looking at something on my phone.
It happens to the best of us. Yeah. Egypt is a modern country with a very, very, very long history. It is. Are we traveling back in time this episode, or is that another episode?
Yes, we are. We are
Okay.
doing that again.
Now, unfortunately, it's not Rome, so I can talk forever about like Roman and Greek mythology and culture and weird shit about that because I spent enough time in classics departments in college to pick some weird crap up.
Well, you can start talking about Egypt because we go back to Egypt.
Do we have a year?
Oh god. Yes, it shows up on the screen, but I forget what it is.
Damn. Because there's actually a chariots.
Basically, they just said, how do we make it look futuristic? How do we make this ancient hieroglyph look futuristic? And they did. And the little mission here is just go make a rubbing of it to give to your eggheads.
And I'm looking at this chariots and like the pyramids. They don't predate chariots, but they nearly predate chariots to give you an idea of just how old, or at least like the cultures that built them were constructing building projects like before the idea of chariots reached them. It's ancient Egypt.
If you really want to try to understand this, when Cleopatra was alive, she was closer to the moon landing than the building of the Great Pyramid.
And ancient Egyptian society had a thing for continuity and had a thing for social stability, and it kept a lot of traditions intact for a very long time. But it did not keep things completely intact, or as intact as I'd like to think.
Yeah, they just sort of put a gas mask on that figure.
Also gave it a bunch of arms, and that's not. That particular position is not. I was gonna say that is not authentic. Like in a very, I don't know. Oh yeah, I like the gears. But yeah, it's. I cannot express how much I wished we could see more of the prior 3 ages in this game.
Well, it's one of those you want to see it, but you don't want to see it.
Yeah, I mean...
Because that would mean that the creators of this game would have to make that stuff up.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance they would fuck it up.
Yeah, either they'd fuck
It's
it up
better
or it
that
would
it
blow.
remain. It's better that it remains history, rumor, and myth, even in game,
Yeah, either
because that makes it more exotic.
either they'd fuck it up or they'd blow the budget on it and never be able to replicate it, which would be even worse. Like, because that would just, it would make, like, fucking it up would just sort of screw over the future and everything that follows. But if
Lol, if you think this game has a future.
I mean, yeah, but like in general, like if it had peaking is what makes everything that came before look bad too, in a way that jumping the shark doesn't. So it's
You
you
know
can't
what,
win.
Elon Musk, you want to impress me?
You want to
Make a fucking sequel fund a sequel to this video game, okay? Put your billions where your mouth is and fund a sequel to this cool ass video game.
uh
I could probably at him on Twitter and he might respond. And that's the thing about Musk. He is addicted to Twitter.
mm-hmm. Let's see, it's just sort of padding along in his like completely pristine suit, white suit. It's a thing of beauty.
Okay, so we're here to get an arc, because there is a third age power source that the bad guys have that they're going to use to blow something up. And last time one of those got blown up, it turned into Tokyo.
Oh hey, it's a filth monster.
Yep. And I do it wrong the first time.
What are those, like, worm on a string things?
Those are its feet. They just kind of act
No,
like that.
No, its face.
Oh. It's got, like, Cthulhu head tentacles.
No, I mean, yeah, but it, God.
The stuff
From-
underneath it?
Yeah, the stuff, just, the face and profile looks like one of those worm on string things. Like, look at that.
Oh, it does, yeah.
I can't not see it. It's just...
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
You got...
And there's a problem. See, we have the box. But...
Broken, is it? That's a pity.
Can you guess what we gotta do?
I take it you see how this
Yeah, he seems like, yeah, this is how it goes.
Where oh where can we find a functioning version of the Ark? Or should I say, when oh when?
Once you've unlocked time travel, it's just too convenient to leave alone.
But I can't remember being without it. I suppose it once meant something to me. Chop chop. Time is of the essence.
Seed's a cool dude, even if he is an amoral arms dealer.
He really, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out which face of the time tube I'm supposed to use. It's the one right above Seed. And here we go for one of my least favorite missions in the game.
Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm really hoping we get a year, because that means something.
1897 BCE.
1897.
It's in the little...
That's later than I anticipated. I'm gonna have to...
Go ahead, I'm gonna die a bunch of times in a puzzle. You remember that scene in Indiana Jones 3? Where he has to do the Jehovah puzzle? Jehovah starts with a Y. Remember that bit?
No, actually, I can't. It's been all of time since I like. Since I saw that.
Basically, we have a light up
Okay.
puzzle, and it burns you, and it's really difficult, and I die a couple times. I really hate this part. There's a reason I don't redo most of these sabotage missions when I grind.
All right, so I'm doing a little bit of legwork, doing a little bit of research. Okay, so now I get to talk about Egyptian history. So, all right, where do I start with this? All right, you've probably heard of three kingdoms: the old, the middle, and the new, in ancient Egypt. And audience participation is advised, because you never know. Some people don't actually learn about this in school. No, like, do you?
Oh, I did,
Yeah.
but I didn't know you were asking a question.
Yeah, I was asking you a direct question. Yeah.
Oh no, I did, but I didn't learn about it in school. I had those horrible histories books.
Oh yeah.
And I had the one on Egypt.
Yeah. They made it. God, they made so many of those. I had
My
the
dad
Inca.
would get them on business trips to England.
Yep.
And bring them back for me.
So okay. How do I put this? Ancient Egypt lasted so long that, like, if you looked at Egypt under the Romans and you looked at Egypt like at the time, like the predecessors to the pyramids were being built, you would see visible similarities. They would not understand each other speak. They wouldn't be worshiping the same gods in the same ways. It's a big continuity. There's a sense of continuity to the whole thing, but all the details change from place to place. And it's kind of awkward that they managed to pick a time right in the middle, at the height of the Middle Kingdom, because the Middle Kingdom is like the ugly stepchild of ancient Egyptian golden ages. It's hard to describe. It's like, Old Kingdom is when the pyramids were built. It's when the concept of Egypt as a civilization came together, and it lasted for centuries and centuries. The New Kingdom came way later, and it's when the concept of Egypt as a power, like as a cultural force, in influencing other civilizations in like the Mediterranean and the Middle East came into being. Like, if you've heard of Ramses, that he was a pharaoh of the Middle Kingdom. Basically, like, if you've heard the name of a person who isn't directly connected to a pyramid, he's probably from the New Kingdom. The Middle Kingdom happened roughly in between those. The Old and New Kingdoms lasted centuries and centuries. The Middle Kingdom barely broke 200 years, and it was nice. It was stable while it lasted. It had a real problem with priests gaining political power, and I think I talked a while back about on this here about the did I talk about the medieval Europe monastic inheritance issue? Does this sound familiar at you?
I vaguely remember that, but it could be from something else. I mean, I know what that is.
Yeah, and I probably talked about it, but briefly to summarize, people would when knights in medieval Europe, when they died, they'd leave parts of their estate to the monasteries as a gesture of faith. And over time, since nobody would inherit anything from a monastery, and people kept donating land, monasteries got more and more and more and more powerful just because they had more and more land. And that's basically what ended up. There was more to it than this, but that's what ended up bringing down the Middle Kingdom. Not like the local religious authorities got too big for central authority to really rein them in, and they ended up bringing everything down.
Central authority or the religious communities?
The answer is yes.
I mean,
War. This is a society with god kings. That's what a pharaoh is.
Yeah. When God King tells his worshippers, please stop doing that, and they go, clearly you're not God King, because God King wouldn't say that.
I mean, yeah, but like, it's complicated. But yeah, it's
You have to do these stupid puzzles at every door.
and it
But
doesn't like. And I mentioned last episode how polytheism is different from place to place. Um,
yes.
that was really strongly enforced in Egypt, and like they had the same rough set of gods for most of their history, but um, they had this like each city had a patron god, and Egypt was organized into regions called nomes, and like not with a G, just like Nomes. Um, and usually they'd be based on old city states from before when the pharaoh unified the area, and which basically whichever city uni- had the ended up.
Yep,
Oh
we
my
got the
god,
big Indiana Jones ball.
perfect. I completely
I
forgot about this.
seem I seem to remember you having to actually outrun the ball in the original, but in Legends you don't. Mostly because the ball would squish you if you hadn't bought a sprint upgrade.
Yeah. It would be pretty neat if just bolting through that like that area would cause things to slam shut just because you were entering the pattern wrong or something. But, no deal. Where was I? Right. Basically when a city ended up building a state that would unite Egypt, whoever that city's patron was would end up the head of that incarnation of the pantheon. Like you have various cities who would revere there's Set or Horus or Osiris, and some cities really like. Okay, do you know the when I say Set, Horus, Osiris? Do you know the basic story behind
Uh, is it the Come Let Us one?
them? I think partly, but I'll bottom line it.
Okay, then I know that one. I know the funny one.
Yeah, there's a lot of they do have a thing. The Egyptians did have a thing for jizz in legends and in religion, but that's another story. Basically, story goes, two brothers who were basically competing for the position of king of the gods. One was named Osiris, one was named Set. Osiris eventually, according to the old
And
interpretation.
here's Saeed.
Anka Kahabi. Anka Kamadu. Said u Erasmus. Non evoli. Kete evoli emifriti.
I mean, I like
Okay.
to think that they called the scholarly department of some university and said, "Hey, what does ancient Egypt sound like?"
That's actually a really big thing. The answer is we don't know. Ancient
Right.
Egyptian doesn't use
It's too
vowels.
old.
I mean, kind of, but ancient Egyptian does not have vowels in its written form, which is. Did you just?
An odd oversight.
But like that's actually really common in Middle Eastern languages. Like Hebrew had.
Yeah, I
a
know
vowel
Hebrew
system.
doesn't in its written either, and that's why you have the name of God and no one knows how to pronounce that.
Kind of.
Even though you shouldn't say it.
I mean, yeah, but technically Hebrew does, but it's a series of diacritic marks that you add under letters. Except for one vowel, which is an actual letter. But like, and with stuff like Hebrew or older forms of Arabic, we know because that stuff's been passed down. But
There is no
Egyptian is-
modern. There is no modern Egyptian.
actually, yes, there is. There's Coptic. They still like this. About 10% of Egypt's population is an ethnic group called the Copts. They're very genetically very similar to their neighbors, but they're Christians. They have their own branch of Christianity. They have a pope in Alexandria, and they speak a language that's directly descended from ancient Egyptian. Like Copt is the word Copt is just a version of the word that for ancient Egyptian word for ancient Egypt, which was probably Kemet. But it's also thousands of years after, and we know that pronunciation shifted a lot. And so what exactly ancient Egyptian sounded like, we know what the vowels, the consonant sounds were usually, but we have to guess for the vowels, and there was like 3 different competing things, 3 different competing ideas of how the vowel sounds even worked, and of course it shifted over time, so it's hard to know which applied when to what extent, but and they sound remarkably different. Like if you hear them hear the different schemes spoken aloud, they sound like very different dialects of the same language. Kind of like, you know, if you listen to like Spanish and Portuguese in various places from different parts of the world where they speak those languages, it's like that. It's more that more than
Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese.
No, well, it's more than the difference between like Spanish and Portuguese. You can, if you speak one, you can kind of understand the other, not well, but you can sort of.
No, I mean,
like,
they're different. Those are different dialects.
Yeah, it's more than dialects. It's like, but
like neighboring languages.
Yeah, the difference is bigger than like between those, but not as big as like French and Spanish, where if you look at them, if you listen, you can hear the similarities, but they're entirely different languages. Like it's stronger than just pure being related schemes, but they're very different interpretations.
So now we're about to do something really Indiana Jones. Get ready for the train level.
I am the Bruce Willis, and you are Rocky Bilbo. Together with old manager, we chase train and save the world.
Oh, do I dare inquire? Who have you got me playing in this spectacle?
You are wrinkly manager man. Your job is to be old and die so we can learn and be sad. Also, you pay for gas.
Delightful. So, shall we? I have other appointments today. I suppose you'll want to ride shotgun. Oh, don't mind me. I'll stretch out in the back.
That was cheesy, but also great. And of course, fedora and a whip. On the
even got the satchel.
Yep.
We go blow the shit out of train.
We catch the train, Nasir. More precisely, you get us there while
I do like they did make sure to put the driver's seat on the right side of the car.
Even the music is vaguely Indiana Jones. It's kind of sort of hitting those notes.
Sorry to be a bother, but is that what I think it is? We're all aware of how Canyon works, yes? For the love of all things ancient, get closer.
You couldn't pay me enough money to do this.
I would, yeah.
I mean, you probably could if I could die and come back.
Yeah.
I'd do it if I could die and come back, but if I would die, yeah, no, that's not happening.
We go for help. You stop the train.
Yeah, that's... There's no way he managed to pull that pull that stop off. Yeah. Alright, now we get to fight people on the back of a train. I was just thinking...
There is an achievement for getting through all 3 sections of the train on the roof without falling off or getting hit by a sign. I have never gotten it. Because guess what you also have to do on the train? Platforming.
God.
In this game, you have to do platforming on the train.
Yeah. I appreciate the need to vary gameplay, come up with new and interesting things for your players to do, but this isn't how you do it. If you're resorting to platforming in a genre and like an engine that isn't made for it, you are resorting to something because you don't know what else to do.
See, I would love if a remake of this is a single-player game where they could actually build an engine that could do it.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem is this came out as an MMO when it really should have just been a single player game with maybe some multiplayer add-ons.
It should have been a
Like
single
imagine
player
a
game
world
PvP.
where this gets to be a series of games.
Yeah, I mean, it would turn into a Ubisoft game. Either
Oh,
Ubisoft
it
would make
absolutely, it absolutely would. But that first game would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
In the way the original Fallout was.
Yeah, or like Assassin's Creed 2 and 4 were, because those were good games. And and Assassin's Creed 4 was kind of climbing up the Ubisoft sandbox butthole, but they knew it was early enough that they hadn't gotten too deep into it yet, and it just worked.
I'm getting some severe artifacting on my end. Are you?
Like video wise,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. So.
Yeah, I'm seeing everything just fine.
Okay, then I don't know what's going on my end, but I'm glad that the final will not have the quality I am seeing.
No, I mean, it's the same quality as ever. Like I can read the text the text in the message screen.
Okay,
there
now
just fine.
it's better.
Okay.
I have no idea what's going on. I built this computer really well. We spent a lot of money on it. I have an i9 and a 3090, and somehow when I play and record at the same when I'm trying to record audio and play video at the same time, I get this artifacting in the video. I'm just glad it's not in the final, because I would literally not put this video up if it looked like that in the final go through.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What?
see that little that little icon above the health bar, the little star with the wings. That means an achievement is going on, and if you fail the achievement, that breaks and falls away. Which is heartbreaking because some of these missions are long, and there's an 8-hour cooldown even if you're a patron. Normally it's like 12 or 16, I think. So you failed the mission. This achievement you can only get on your first try. Fuck you, buddy. Finish the mission and then do it again in 8 hours, provided you've paid us $15.
God, it's weird. Like, I'm not used to wearing headphones and listening to things on my computer, because every time you turn, suddenly the helicopter noise is in a different ear. It's a little disorienting.
Well, what's disorienting to me is this alarm goes in and out.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the sound design in this area is pretty garbage.
Well, this is actually an add-on. This is not in the original game. This is one of the issues that came out after the game launched. And when they rebooted the game, they tied it into the story narrative.
Yeah, because
So when the game originally came out, there was no boss fight with the ultimate bad guy. The sword guy. You just sort of left the area.
I remember. Was there a boss fight at the end of Romania in the original? Because I don't think there was.
I don't remember because I've only ever gotten to Romania in this version.
Huh. Well, there you go. Just watching the fire spread, waiting to die, huh?
Yep.
Again. The scariest guy on the train is a freight hauler.
He's got makeup like the guys from Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Oh, God, This is at once familiar and not familiar. I would remember this. I love how you know how to operate a tank. And also, apparently, it looks like the machine gun's mounted. So, I guess it's just
I'm
like,
just surprised the tank was already loaded.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that too. Or had the keys in the ignition. I'm sitting here going, I grew up outside of Chicago, so trains, endless trains, are just very familiar and almost comforting to me. So I'm just sort of enjoying this.
Oh god, here's where the platforming starts.
Oh, I see. So that's what you mean by signs. Oh, wow. And it's not clear where they are.
And it keeps swinging your vision around because of the train moving. The only good news is the signs are only in this tunnel, so only for this section. So you'll get the first 2 achievements, and then you won't get the one for this, because this is the middle of the mission, and again, there's an 8-hour cooldown, and if you fail it once, you have to do it again.
Yep. It's... Oh, God. I'm just thinking about...
And I never... Yep, there we go. And, yeah, I just tried to walk. It shoved me off.
I can't remember. I'm sitting here thinking, I can't remember if it was Fallout or Half-Life, where the engine wouldn't accommodate subway cars. So they tried a bunch of
Fallout.
things. It was Fallout.
It was Fallout where the subway car is just the head of an NPC, yes.
Yeah, and it's just sort of running along, and that's how they're getting the motion.
I think they've changed that some for Starfield. I hope they have. But some leaks have come out that it is again the same engine. And that even the developers, aside from Todd, are now tired of the engine and would like a new engine, please. So I tried to get the lore that's in there and I just died. And I wasn't dealing with it, so I just skipped the lore.
Yeah. There's a lot of lore in this game that's just not worth picking up.
I mean, I have it in my alt. I have no idea how. I mean, I have it in my main. This is my alt. This is alt is just for the LP, because you can't replay story content.
Yeah.
Which seems like an oversight, because you can replay Tokyo's story content.
I just can't get over. There's still in 2020, like the 2020s, they're still using a developed like Gamebryo.
Yeah.
Like it's not like what is Gamebryo? What's the engine that they claim Gamebryo is, and just a developed version of the one from Oblivion?
They're saying for Starfield, they're using Creation Engine 2. And Creation Engine 2 is apparently just, they reworked some of the graphics engine in Creation Engine, and Creation Engine is essentially just Gamebryo, and Gamebryo is based off an MMO engine that premiered with Morrowind.
Jesus. That's a little, that's venerable.
I mean, props to them for getting it to look as good as it does now, an engine that is essentially as old as Morrowind.
Yeah.
Not props for making us have to do all the hacks and side arounds and not being as capable as other versions of engines.
Yeah, God, I'm looking at it right now. It's for Starfield, people talk about it's the first original IP in 25 years to come out of Bethesda. Gamebryo was released 25 years ago, like the first version of the engine that they're using
They're
in this game.
still using
It's
the same
engine.
engine.
Ugh.
Yeah, just trap me in the hell circle. There we go. While I got the dude firing RPG 7s at me.
But eventually.
You know,
Eventually
I
you win.
like fan fiction.
Mhm.
I like fan fiction. Do you know what I saw that I did not expect to see?
What?
A crossover between this and the web novel Worm.
That. That's You know, I can kind of see it. I can. It's one of those things that with the right writer, it would work really well. Like,
it had like 3 updates and then it fell off, but I was surprised to see it because it was actually pretty good. And yes, Taylor is a bee. Of course, she's a fucking bee.
Yeah, of course. Once I saw
Little
okay.
Miss Escalation can never not be the main character.
I remember seeing a I remember seeing one that was. It was one of it like It was a crossover. One part was Kata with Shoujo, the game that started the game I was LPing when we started, a heartfelt and highly accurate game about dating disabled teenagers, and it was crossed over with fucking Worm. It was just like Taylor going to another world and meeting Lily, one of the characters of the game, and dating her, and it was real weird. And then I went to the author's...
I don't understand why you would do that, though.
Contrast. Also, like, she's missing an arm, so it plays up the disabled narrative there.
Oh.
And uses that. It's a little...
I mean, I guess.
But, like,
But you said you went to the author's page?
Yeah, I went to the author's page. That was pretty much the only thing they'd written that was safe for work. And everything else was porn, ranging from, like, just porn to horrifying stuff. It was weird seeing this relatively well-written romance story just in a sea of smut.
The delivery will be made.
I mean, porn writers, if you're a good porn writer, you have to know how to write first.
Yeah. It's like how comedians sometimes transition into directors. And then inevitably turn out to be super creepy the moment their careers go serious. I don't know.
You're thinking Woody Allen?
And Louis C.K.
He's a director?
I'm not a director, I mean, but like he was going serious actor when the
allegations, yeah.
Yeah. But I swear, and those are the ones I'm thinking of off the top of my head. I swear there are several others too, and I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's really, you gotta, people say separate the art from the artist, and you really gotta do that for a lot of people, because I really love Woody Allen movies. They're so good.
Yeah.
But he's just such an utter scumbag.
Yeah, you can't. That's one of those things that you just can't, like, it's just weird. I mean, I only,
There's me buying more of the refillable health potions that I've been using.
Yeah, I do not remember being able to actually buy, like, potions and shit on the fly.
Oh, it's just on the bar. You get 6 of them, and you have to buy more of them when you use them.
Yeah, God, the combat system's so different. Like it's
it's
still
more.
It probably is a lot better because
it is a lot better. It is.
Yeah.
I'm actually able to play this game. Is how much better it is.
Like I liked the combat system well enough of the old version because I knew what I was doing, and because I just kind of overtrained, so I was just like,
They are not even your people.
I just made it. God. How do? Let me. I lost my train of thought.
Dude's just ranting at us.
Yeah, he's just ranting. He's like, I have no. He tells me I have no people, and half of what I've
No,
said
he's
in this
like, how
LP
could
is
you?
like.
He's like, how can you trust it to those people? Like the cult?
Like
You're a
you?
cult. Like you caused Tokyo, dude.
Hatten, have mercy.
I spoiler alert, I've already played this game. I know what Tokyo's like. You helped cause it. You're the bad guy here.
Yeah. This is a very much a like gray and black world here, but you are so far into the bad guy like region. It's just
You're not an anti-hero, dude. You're not Taylor.
you're not a necessary evil.
You're not. Sorry, I can't stop laughing whenever I think about that fucking web novel.
Yeah. It's I was really into web novels.
So much of the fanfic I read is just people messing with that web novel because it's you know, it used to be Harry Potter.
Yep.
Now it's Worm.
Yeah, and like Harry Potter, I ran out of things to read recently, so there's a YouTuber I like, and he produced a bunch of long form reviews of Naruto's arcs. So I watched those reviews specifically to have enough context to read Naruto fanfiction, just so I could have more to read. And that's my only experience with that franchise. I've been reading a bunch of that fic. And and I think it's like Harry Potter in that there's a huge amount of world building, but it's kind of terrible and it doesn't make any sense. So it's really, people really want to get in there and tear it apart and figure out how it actually works. And that's catnip for a certain kind of writer.
Yep. But this guy said, say your prayers to your deceased deity. No. I don't know how that would work if it were you, because I'm pretty sure your god isn't dead.
Yeah, my god never died.
It's like, is he saying Jesus died and didn't come back, or is he just saying my god murdered all the other gods?
I think probably the second. I don't know.
Basically, you're watching the rest of the video. It's just this fight.
Yeah.
Because he takes an immense amount of damage. There's me canceling a dodge because I would have dodged off the fucking train car.
Dude. Like, is this the boss fight? Is he dead after this?
Yes,
I
after this he
swear-
is dead.
I swear in the original he showed up later on, just to get, like, you have failed me, or, like, comedy ganked by the big villain. But, I don't know. I guess
Well,
not.
if he does, I don't remember it. And if he does, it'll be a surprise, considering I beat the shit out of him, and then, spoiler alert, kick him off a moving train.
I mean, look, if he's may very well come back as one of, like, some kind of filth-possessed corpse.
That's entirely possible.
He's just a dude. What does he think he can do against a bee?
Well, his plan was to get this out of here before you could do anything. And if he'd killed you, it would have taken you long enough that he would be in Cairo at the very least.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's fair.
And so, at a minimum, he could turn Cairo into a second Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. And bees can't die permanently, but they can die. So
No sign of villain. He is either dead or waiting for sequel.
see, there you go.
Sequel? Oh, splendid.
I, for one, cannot wait to do this again.
I even let you drive next time. We blow all the terrorists up.
I love how this guy
The
approaches
notion
life.
of our relationship blossoming beyond today fills me with a special kind of dread.
I like you, but you have big problem. You're chained to past, scared to start fresh with good people. The Maria are good people. You work more with us, and you will stop feeling like asshole. You see me, I am like Robert De Niro when I analyze this shit. I find the root of your problem.
Yes, you are remarkably astute.
Now, we all go to celebrate and feel good. Together, we defuse the big threat.
Someone remind me, what exactly
I like
did I
Saeed.
get out of all this?
We are great friends now. You are in my blood.
Oh, surely not. That sounds unhygienic.
Only way for you to break friendship now is to stab the Maria in the back. Do that, and I will not hesitate to kill you many times.
I suppose I can live with those terms. Fine. I reluctantly accept. But next time I get to play Rocky.
Ha! It is deal.
Like I said, I like Saeed.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, we're coming up on the end of the video, I do believe.
Yes, we are. So that was just a short video. This was all the story content for this area. So next few videos will be everything I missed. We're gonna start with the rest of Nasir's stuff, and then go meet Falconeer's uncle.
There we go. And thank you and good night.
Thank you.